if you could kind of disregard, if possible, what you know about me now, if just put yourself back into that moment where you first matched with me, what did you think?
I mean, the first thing, like, your entire profile was just videos, which obviously stood out compared to the typical photos. And you always get the same, you know, you've got a guy with a fish or a dog and then like a group picture and you don't know which one it is. So like the fact that you have video format and as, you know, a podcast host, you really knew how to like talk to the camera and kind of like flirt with it. And so it definitely went through.
I did a couple spins to the camera. Like I timed it where I was turning around and talking at the same time, which took me a few takes, but I think I got the hang of it pretty quick. But yeah, the video aspect. So I basically, like I only had photos on Hinge, like most people. And then they did an update where they allowed you to upload videos to Hinge. And it kind of went under the radar. Like they didn't announce it on Hinge. Like you can upload videos now. It's just like I saw when I was uploading, it said MP3 or MP4 file for video. So I thought, why not play to my strength? Why not record something and show a little bit of personality? And it got me more messages that were either very enthusiastic or very like, you're a creep, like please never, like please get off Hinge. Like I got one girl who told me, what did she say? I found the worst guy on Hinge. She was actually she had a pretty big following in New York City on Instagram. She tagged me in a story that said the worst guy on Hinge. So that was my approach going into the whole online dating app.
Her mistake, my win.
And I'm not recording a podcast with her, so
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. What was the most awkward dating interaction that you've had, whether it was over Hinge or over an actual date? What's something that stands out on your mind where you think I can't believe this is happening right now? Like this is something that's actually being exchanged between two people.
No, with you?
I mean, it could be with me. It could be anything. It could be a message. It could be in person. It could be with me. It could be a previous encounter.
I mean, the one that would stand out right now, like the guy was super sweet, but like very intense. Like first time I meet him, first date, it felt like I was having lunch with someone I'd been dating for like 6 months. But you know, I was like, you know, he's just a little intense, but he's sweet. He seems like a good guy. But like then the day after, I think I had another date and I woke up after. And so I had a missed call from him after I hung out one time. And I was like, is everything okay? Why did you call me? Basically, and he was like, oh, I was just thinking of you and I had a rough day. And so I wanted to talk to you. And I was like, that's a bit weird for someone you've just met.
And did you say that to him when you picked up the phone? Did you say, I think you're the weirdest person?
I mean, I didn't pick up the phone. I like just got the text.
Missed call.
Yeah. And I was just kind of like a bit weirded out, being like, okay, I'll just step aside. And funnily enough, one of my friends had actually dated him as well, but like met him not on a dating app, just like at a club and stuff, and also had a really weird experience with him. So...
Well, in his defense, since I know him very well, you're actually talking about Rashad. I have no idea who this guy is, but in his defense, I'll defend this person that I've never met. I will say that at least he went for the call, because I feel like a lot of people, and including myself, time dating interactions, especially in the early stages, first 2 to 3 dates, like it's like methodical. Like I'm going to wait at least 36 hours before I send her a text message, and then I'll wait 12 hours after that to respond again if she doesn't respond. And then if she responds, I'll send a message, maybe a picture of something that I did that day, but not before the second text message interaction. You can't lead with a picture. Well, that's just weird.
You've got rules, and that's the thing too on the first date. And like, there's a fine line between being super sweet and super creepy. And you know, first
it's
date,
how you look. It's I have this theory that you can basically get away. Your window of getting away with interactions on the smooth to creepy range is wider the better looking you are. You doing something like showing up to a woman's workplace with flowers, or even the other way around, like the man's workplace, the woman has flowers. Depending on how hot the person is, affects how you receive that same interaction. If a guy who you didn't think was hot did the same exact thing, like same color flowers, same card, everything, like had a great night last night, depending on how hot that guy was, you would be like either ew or like this is kind of cute. Like I like this.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough, but it's also essentially how much you like the person. And so like if you did something like that, I'd be like, oh, that's so sweet because you're my boyfriend. But like if it'd only be one date and you did something super romantic, it'd be like, a bit weird.
Yeah. I feel like the romantic gestures, I don't know. I mean, you know me, I don't really do that many romantic gestures, but when I do, they're bigger. It's more so the way that I know that I care about you is that I have something in my subconscious that makes me do smaller or not makes me, but I want to do smaller actions to let you know that I give a shit during the day, even when I mess up on some of those actions where, you know, I forget to do shit, like I pee all over the toilet seat and then leave it up for you to sit on. I have this motor running in my head that makes me want to do the small things for you. And then on special occasions, I will say, all right, I need to go all out on this. Like however it ends up, I'm going to, like the one thing I'm not going to do is go into it thinking that I should have done something more or I should have planned more for this. Like however she thinks it is, like even if she hates it, like I'll feel good because I'm like, all right, well, at least I went for it. So with, like the romantic gestures, I feel like have a time and place, and it's definitely not early on.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you want to show like, you know, some form of sweetness, interest and all, but like you need to kind of like hold it together a little bit. You know, if you're like really into someone, you gotta like play those games where you're like, you don't necessarily show that you're not interested at all because we're not in middle school anymore. But at the same time, you know, you don't want to become too like clingy and stuff too fast. So you gotta pace yourself and play your cards right.
Okay.
Well, how about me? Like we talked about your profile, but how about my profile?
Your profile. So I actually made a note about this in later on when we're going to talk about more travel stuff, adventure stuff that you've done. You, at first, you struck me as the typical girl who posts the one time they went hiking to make it look like they do it as part of their routine, which is what I tried not to do in my profile. Like people probably saw my profile and like, you're a piece of shit, or I like it, like whatever. It was mostly videos. And so people took it as they did. But with you, my impression was that you posted like, I think you had like the glass at a winery or something. And then you had the photo of you on top of a mountain. Yes. Yeah, so you had the typical basic bitch profile, like basic bitch Instagram profile of like these small snapshots of your life are meant to be taken as broad strokes, where it's like, I'm not just someone who takes a picture of hiking. I am someone that hikes all the time. And, you know, some people do post pictures of hiking and they go hiking all the time, but I didn't know. And I was so used to seeing girls on Hinge where they would, one of the prompts on Hinge, which is my favorite, it would say, what's your favorite travel story? And then girls would just list a country. They would say like Brazil or Peru.
Great story.
And I'm just like, what is the story? What is the story of Brazil? Like, give me like just the basic intro, middle, conclusion that we learned in 4th grade. Like, I went to Peru, rode a camel, and then went back to New York. Even that would be a story. But for you, I thought you were kind of that girl. And then as we went on, I basically realized that you're the anti-influencer because you do all these shit and you never post about it. You've posted one picture. I don't even think you've posted a picture since we've been dating. Because you're trying to hide me from the world. So you actually asked me to blur your face out for this podcast, so that there would be
and change my voice too, so I'm fully anonymous.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll give you a very low voice. Like it'll be like I'm talking to myself.
No, I mean I genuinely try to put pictures that I thought were I look cute. You know, obviously I want to look hot to get a boy, but also
not a man. Just a boy.
Just a man is okay.
A young child.
Yeah. Underage if possible.
Yes.
But also that I thought were representative of what I liked. And so it was a picture of me at a winery, but I generally love wine. It's in my DNA, being French. So, and I do hike a lot and travel a lot. So, and I do have really cool travel stories, but they wouldn't fit in the...
They wouldn't fit in the story block. Yeah, it was more than 3 lines. More than 3 lines.
Because it's an actual story, you know, it's not a country.
That's true. that is true. You should teach a Hinge class for women about writing stories on Hinge.
Yeah, I feel like there should be a Hinge class or like just any dating app for both genders, because like I remember when, especially for Tinder, when I was scrolling through Tinder, I was like so many times I thought, dude, like if you posted different pictures, you would actually get girls, but like. Don't just stop doing that, you know?